Welcome into Tailgate Thursday for week number 9 of the 2024 college football season. My name is David Morrison from the Ball Society, here to preview the upcoming college football games this weekend. Our beloved Tennessee Volunteers are on their final bye week of the season. They'll get ready to take on the Kentucky Wildcats coming up on Saturday, November the 2nd. But we'll go ahead and preview the rest of the college football games, featuring games in the SEC and across the nation. We begin in Oxford, Mississippi. The 18th ranked Ole Miss Rebels, 5-2 on the year, welcoming in the Oklahoma Sooners for a noon game on ESPN. Oklahoma coming off an embarrassing performance against South Carolina. 3 turnovers in 8 minutes in that game. Just a horrible performance and some uneasy tensions in Norman with Brent Venables and the fan base, and just kind of him on the hot seat in general. Meanwhile, for Ole Miss, like I said, they're trying to hold on to a playoff position at this moment. Still got a long ways to go, but definitely an intriguing game, and see how the tensions are after this one, as Oklahoma takes on Ole Miss on ESPN, 12:45 SEC Network. The Arkansas Razorbacks taking on the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Arkansas coming off a loss to LSU in the Golden Boot game. Meanwhile, for Mississippi State, just continuing to struggle throughout this season. Now on the bubble as far as to make a bowl game goes, they're at 1-6. This game's in Starkville, and Mississippi State has done fairly well against Arkansas at home, but we'll see what happens. It's a sleepy game, but we'll see. But it's an SEC game, to be exact. All right, it's Arkansas and Mississippi State. All right, 3:30 ABC, an intriguing game in Tuscaloosa. Number 21, Missouri. Number 15, Alabama. Alabama coming off a loss last Saturday to Tennessee in Knoxville. Just a wild and crazy game last week, and now coming back home, taking on Missouri, who had to defeat the other team from the state of Alabama. Auburn had to come back and beat them at home, and the wild story of Brady Cook getting injured, going to the hospital, and then coming back from the hospital to the stadium and end up winning the game. Just a remarkable story. There's been some crazy moments throughout this college football season, so be interesting to see what happens as Mizzou takes on Bama. 4:15 on the SEC Network. There they are, the number 25 Vanderbilt Commodores. First time they've been ranked in a long time, and they're welcoming in the Texas Longhorns, who's fresh off a loss to Georgia last week, a 15-point loss, 30-15 to be exact. Last Saturday, Vanderbilt has been the team has upset teams this year. They upset Alabama. They defeated Kentucky on the road. Vandy had to squeeze out a win last week against Ball State. That's been kind of one of their Achilles' heel. You know, they've already lost to Georgia State, and then lost at the buzzer to Missouri, or they missed the game-winning field goal, I should say. But hey, this is a good Vanderbilt team. This is a game that I think a lot of people is going to be keeping an eye out on, or maybe even watching. It is Texas and Vanderbilt from Nashville. 7:30 ABC. I would say this is the game of the week in the SEC right here. Number 8 LSU, 6-1 on the year. Number 14 Texas A&M, also 6-1 on the year. 7:30 on ABC. LSU back in the top 10 after defeating Arkansas. Meanwhile, for Texas A&M, 6-game winning streak for the Aggies after that Week 1 loss to Notre Dame. Hasn't hindered their season at all. Both teams trying to get into the playoff. You know, even a trip to Atlanta is in stake. These teams, you know, for the last several years was normally playing on rivalry weekend, but with conference realignment and stuff like that, now it's being played in the fourth Saturday in October, but still be a fun matchup there. LSU and Texas A&M, 7:45 SEC Network. Auburn at Kentucky from Kroger Field. You know, we've already talked about Auburn and just their struggles, and even Kentucky, they're having their struggles too. Couple programs who need a desperate win at this point. It's a late game, 7:45 SEC Network. I don't know how many people's really going to be tuning into this game besides Auburn and Kentucky fans, but it's there. it's the Tigers and the Wildcats. And, of course, I would say some Tennessee fans will probably be kind of tuning in since this will be our opponent next week. So, but we'll have to preview it since it's an SEC game. But there it is. All right, let's go across the nation. Several great games. And we begin tonight in the Steel City. Number 19, Pittsburgh, undefeated at 6-0. Welcoming in an old Big East rival, now an ACC rival, the 5-1 Syracuse Orange. Kyle McCord leads the way for Syracuse. Meanwhile, for Pitt, they really haven't played a tough ACC schedule this year. Granted, it's a down ACC year. Now they get Clemson here, I think, in a couple of weeks, if not next week. But, hey, they're undefeated right now, and big-time matchup, 7:30 tonight on ESPN. Trying to climb that ladder in the ACC standings and getting a trip to Charlotte for the ACC championship game. And it is Syracuse and Pitt tonight. Friday night, late game on CBS Sports Network from Vegas at Allegiant Stadium. 17th ranked Boise State, 5-1 on the year, taking on the 6-1 UNLV running Rebels. Ashton Jeanty leads the way for Boise State, the talented running back. Could be a Heisman Trophy. Well, I say he will be a Heisman Trophy finalist. Could win the whole Heisman Trophy thing, if you will. Just having a great season as the running back for Boise. UNLV, 6-1. They defeated Washington State, I think, in their last game, if I'm not mistaken. But, definitely a big-time matchup in the Mountain West Conference. It's a late game Friday night, so if you're kind of rolling in from those Friday night games or just have some insomnia, there you go. You can watch some Mountain West football on the CBS Sports Network. All right. This is a game I'm actually looking forward to this weekend because I am going to be rooting hard for the United States Naval Academy, the Midshipmen of Navy, number 24 in the nation, undefeated 6-0, just like Army is, as they take on their biggest rival of the year, one of college football's longest-running rivalries, Notre Dame taking on Navy. Notre Dame, number 12 in the country, 6-1 on the year. They still have that looming loss to Northern Illinois. This game will be at East Rutherford, New Jersey, at MetLife Stadium, where the Giants and the Jets play their NFL home games. Noon on ABC. America is going to be rooting for Navy in this matchup, unless you're a Notre Dame fan. But root for Navy, root for America, USA, USA, USA. 3:30 on CBS. Number 20, Illinois, 6-1 on the year, taking on the number 1 team in the nation this week, the Oregon Ducks. I'm telling you what, there's been a lot of flip-flop with this number 1 team in the nation deal. It's kind of like watching college basketball between Oregon and Texas and Georgia, and I'm sure it's not going to end. But Illinois, big win last Saturday at home against Michigan. They broke out the Red Grange retro jerseys from 1924 and had the modernized leather helmets. Look really cool. And a big win over Michigan. Meanwhile, for the Ducks, 7-0 on the year. Dylan Gabriel leads the way for them. Should be a fun matchup. Oregon has struggled. They did struggle at the beginning of the year, but it seems like they're now cooking at this point. So we'll see what happens. 7:30 NBC. Primetime, the Big Ten. Number 3, Penn State, 6-0 on the year. Heading to Madison, Wisconsin to take on those Wisconsin Badgers. Wisconsin doing a little bit better offensively. Big time matchup here. Penn State still undefeated. Last time they were on the road, they barely squeaked a win out against USC. We'll see what happens. Should be a hostile environment. Jump around indeed is going to be a full effect as Penn State takes on Wisconsin. And finally, 8 o'clock on the ACC network. It is an ACC game. I'm still getting used to these conference realignments. Number 22 SMU, 6-1 on the year, heading to Wallace Wade Stadium in Durham to take on the Duke Blue Devils, 6-1 on the year themselves. 8 o'clock ACC network. Duke coming off a win over Florida State, their first win in that series history, and looking to kind of build the momentum. Meanwhile, for SMU, trying to get to the ACC championship game for their first year in the Atlantic Coast Conference. I mean, it'd be a wild scenario there. But, SMU's looking really good right now. And we'll see if they can continue their winning ways, or will Manny Diaz and the Blue Devils pull out an upset win. Both teams are I believe, undefeated in ACC play, if I'm not mistaken. All right, that's going to wrap it up for Tailgate Thursday. Enjoy the football, and we'll be right back here next week to preview week number 10 as we hit the month of November in college football. Until next time, this is David Morrison.